guys chickened out and you didn't do it.
Oh, sorry guys, I'm just practicing in case I ever run into an NFL media insider at Starbucks. NFL newsbreaker Ian Rappaport and Fox newsbreaker Jordan Schultz got into an altercation at Starbucks, which is hilarious for numerous reasons that I will reveal today. Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford met in Montana as trade rumors swirl around Matthew Stafford, which is significant now that Tom Brady is a minority. Yep, he's Asian. Minority owner of the Raiders. That's what I meant. These two stories, though, the fight, the trade rumors, the secret meetings, they're all intertwined and relevant.
Does it come down to the Rams organization? Is it you making the final decision? Is it Matthew having to make the final decision?
It's us collectively.
And even though I wasn't planning on doing an episode today, the thought of my short king, Ian Rappaport, getting into an altercation forced my hand. I have no choice. So today, I'll give you the details of the greatest media fight since Anchorman.
Hey!
Uh-oh. Here comes trouble.
And I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who's watched the last two videos here on That's Good Sports and commented about nothing other than my mustache in the comments. I do appreciate it. So I have an idea, all right? I need to get more signups on Underdog. That's just how the business world works. And we are 38 signups away from 5,500. So if we get those 38 signups, I keep the mustache for another week. You love it. You don't want it to go away. My wife hates it. But if you want me to keep it and torture my wife, 38 signups at Underdog to get us to 5,500. Don't sign up at Underdog because it's the best place to play daily fantasy or in pick'em games. You can play through the NBA or NHL during the offseason here. Don't do it for those reasons. Do it so we keep my mustache. Save my mustache by using my code at Underdog. That's good. And if you've already signed up, you gotta make your first play. That's how it works. The New Orleans Saints stated they're sticking with Derek Carr. What does that mean for the Saints? I'm kidding, nobody cares. Nobody cares, Derek. Carr's about to become the only quarterback in NFL history to make $200 million and never win a playoff game. Nice. Now, I broke down the Matthew Stafford trade rumors in Monday's episode. It feels like Stafford switching teams is actually more likely now. Of course, Sean McVay talked about it on Ryan Fitzpatrick and Andrew Whitworth's podcast the day after I posted. My initial fear was McVay would squash the trade rumors and my video would look stupid. And it started that way when McVay gave a glowing review of just how good Stafford is.
Competitive greatness, being your best when your best is required. This guy's played in 7 playoff games for us. He's 5-2. The 2 games that we lost against Detroit and Philadelphia this past year in the divisional round, this guy gave us every chance from within the framework of what he could control.
Hell, he even reiterated what I said about Stafford on Monday, that he's clutch and a winner in the postseason, which was my knock on Sam Darnold. But then my fears of looking dumb slowly diminished, and I had to look up how to spell diminish as McVay kept talking. McVay instead talked very honestly about the balance the Rams are trying to find and making sure they do right by Stafford and how they do that while putting the success of the team before everything else. Judge for yourself, but this sounds like someone who is fine trading Stafford and that this isn't just about finding Stafford's contract value.
The interesting and the challenging dilemma and dynamics within this are, hey, how do you continuously as a head coach look at the short term and the long term and be able to figure out what does that really look like? There's no dispute, and let's not get it twisted in regards to anybody wanting him to be our quarterback. Now, there's layers to it. And as you try to put together the puzzle for your football team.
I'm not crazy, right? McVay is very clear that they want Stafford back, that he loves Stafford, but caveats it with there are always layers to things like this. He adds that they had an idea, Stafford had an idea, and that nobody is right or wrong.
at the end of the day, you know, we had something in mind, he had something in mind, and nobody was right or wrong. And then ultimately you're saying, hey, there's a ton of interest because this guy's an incredible player.
Which is a nice way of saying they had very different ideas about how to move forward. The salary cap has increased by $53 million over the last 2 years. The cold truth is there should be no reason the Rams can't pay Stafford exactly what he wants. The Rams work the numbers as good as anyone in the league. And their owner, Stan Kroenke, has the cash to do whatever is required for escrow and contracts and all that boring bullshit. McVay is saying, in the nicest way possible, everything has a price. And for the Rams, the price of additional draft compensation could make them reconsider how they move forward as a team. To put it simple, I think the Rams are a contender for the Super Bowl in 2025. I believe they believe that with Stafford, but that they don't believe they are in that same window in 2026 and 2027, you know, moving forward with an older quarterback. So if the Raiders and Giants are significantly interested in Stafford, and that's what the reports are coming out of the combine, I now think Stafford will command a greater draft haul than I thought back on Monday. I love Sean McVay. It's rare you get a coach who is this honest about something like this when talking to the media or whatever the hell we classify player podcasts as. What this underlines to me is Sean McVay's confidence in his ability to coach and lead no matter who their quarterback is the next few years. And while they would prefer Matthew stay in LA, they are prepared to deal him for the right price. And now there are two teams willing to possibly deliver the right price, which takes us to how this connected to the greatest media confrontation of our time. Why did Ian Rappaport and Jordan Schultz nearly come to blows at Starbucks in a Marriott lobby? It's because of the Matthew Stafford trade rumors. This is a beef over sources and reporting. Jordan Schultz was the first to report that Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford had a secret meeting in Montana. Just saying secret meeting makes me think of that song by The National. Fitting, since these are national NFL news breakers. Sources, #Raiders, minority owner Tom Brady recently hosted Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford at his home in Montana, where they spent time together and went skiing. Brady has been actively trying to convince Stafford to join the Raiders, and discussions are ongoing. Several teams are interested in Stafford if the Rams decide to move him, with Las Vegas believed to be the most aggressive suitor. Boom! Stafford and Brady are talking. They're talking and skiing. Schultz and Brady both work for Fox. So I'm guessing Schultz has pretty good intel here. The first question, though, becomes, is this tampering? If Brady hosted Matthew Stafford in his Montana home, yes, it is tampering. We already know Tom Brady is a filthy cheater who never won anything honestly in his entire life, so that checks out.
It is over. Take the punishment, whatever it is, deal with it, and move on.
However, if the Rams gave Stafford permission to seek a trade, who cares if he and Tom talked? I'm sure Tom's first question to Stafford was, do you now or in the future have any plans of mastering the art of jiu-jitsu? And when Stafford responded with no, Tom followed up with, let's cut to the chase then. The reason you're here, Matt, are you going to try and fuck my ex-wife? How about my current girlfriend? Do you want to fuck my future hypothetical girlfriend, Matt? Do ya? Do you? It should be noted that Matthew Stafford is the greatest quarterback in NFL history to accidentally run into the person who will trade for him in odd locations. Remember, he and Sean McVay had a not-so-secret meeting in Cabo prior to the Lions-Rams trade. Nobody accidentally runs into each other in Montana. It's the third least densely populated state in the Confederacy. Oops, sorry, I thought I was making this video for X for a second. Look, you bump into someone accidentally at the Orange County Costco, not in Montana. After Schultz reported that, Ian Rappaport tweeted this, painting the meeting as a chance encounter. Raiders minority owner Tom Brady and Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford ran into each other at a ski resort in Montana, sources say. The meeting, unplanned, was not extensive or in-depth and did not include Brady hosting or recruiting Stafford, despite reports saying otherwise. Tom Pelissero cited Tom Brady's agent, Don Yee, who told him, "I know that reporters sometimes make mistakes in their haste, but this story's inaccurate." I certainly believe that's exactly what an agent who is trying to cover his client's ass would say, especially when his client's a dirty cheater like Tom Brady. The funny part, though, is Rappy, can I call you Rappy, took a jab at Schultz's reporting on the NFL Network show.
Will you commit to doing it?
Today.
Will you commit?
That is what I think set Schultz off. A lot of fake news today? Sorry, Ian, in today's world, that's every day. But you had two NFL Network reporters negating what Schultz tweeted, and then Ian throwing the first proverbial punch on TV. Let's also note that Don Yee said the report was inaccurate, not false. He didn't outright deny it. This all led to Schultz confronting Ian at the Marriott Starbucks, which would have never happened if they were drinking my coffee, which can be purchased at benchwarmershop.com. We have to raise the prices in the next 48 hours. Per me, I am the source, so if you want to get in on my coffee before the prices go up $2 to $3 a bag, do it now, benchwarmershop.com. Shout out to PFT commenter, who first broke the story that two big NFL insiders got into a verbal altercation. Then it was PFT, the other one, Florio's Pro Football Talk, that posted the details. We're told that Rappaport was talking to an agent. Schultz approached Rappaport and said, "We need to talk," or specific words to that effect. Rappaport replied, "We're told we don't need to talk." Schultz then made accusations about Rappaport. Rappaport, we're told, regards the accusations as unfounded. The two men were essentially face to face. "If you have anything to say to me, say it to my fucking face," Schultz said, or specific words to that effect. "If this continues, we're going to have a fucking problem," as noted below. Schultz does not recall using profanity, though. Report then asks Schultz to step back. "If this happens again, we're going to have a fucking problem," Schultz said, or specific words to that effect. "Now I'll step back."
Let's do this!
Ian Rappaport told a witness that NFL security was informed of the exchange because it was regarded as a threat of physical violence.
Now I'll be number one.
Knowing Ian told on Schultz makes Mike Garafolo calling Ian a chicken for not running the 40 even funnier.
You have a year to train for your 40. You guys chickened out, and you didn't do it, and we didn't do it this year.
That's fake
Will
news.
you commit to doing it?
Today.
Will you commit to doing it in 2026?
Now, I'm not shaming Ian for being a tattletale. I'm not, because when I saw two of my college friends get into a fight in the street with a bunch of dudes, I didn't jump in to help. I ran inside and told all my bigger friends who had bigger muscles that their boys were outnumbered and getting beat on. Then I watched in horror from inside the safety of the house because fighting is scary. It's scary. Adam Schefter, though, may have come in and dropped the GOAT tweet about the kerfuffle. This morning, Shefty posted, "Head on a swivel," with the Starbucks sign as his photo. Oh, I almost forgot the best part. Jordan Schultz's dad, Howard Schultz, was the CEO of Starbucks for decades. I think Schultz actually has immunity on any Starbucks property. He could have stabbed Ian without consequence, or even worse, made him drink an iced matcha tea latte. Ian's a lucky man. I am extremely disappointed, though, in both Schultz and Rappaport. I'm disappointed. Not for fighting, but for not breaking this story. They were both sitting on the greatest story in maybe NFL Combine history, and they let PFT scoop them. Ian works for the NFL, and the league is now investigating this altercation. It appears Schultz is probably the only one in danger of getting in trouble. The NFL could press Fox to do something, or Tom Brady could press Fox to do something since he was the one caught, you know, for breaking the rules.
One thing he has feared for a long time is anyone taking a snap instead of him, which is one reason why he wants to stay on the field.
Schultz will only be vindicated, though, if Stafford is traded to the Raiders. Oh, and by the way, the reports of the Raiders reaching out to Stafford and talking to Stafford's camp had been posted well before Schultz dropped the Montana bomb. A state so undensely populated that if you dropped a bomb on it, nobody would die. And knowing that he has nothing to lose, Jordan Schultz needs to tweet, "Tom Brady was on the Epstein..." Never mind, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, live with Tom Grossi for the return of GPS. Tom's coming to my house. He's coming here. We'll see that tomorrow. You think Jordan Schultz would confront this at a Starbucks? I don't think so. 1, I'll beat your ass. 2, I might be an undercover cop. 3, I'll beat your ass. 4, I'm a retired gunslinger. 5, my dad is Tom Selleck. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please, you gotta subscribe here on YouTube. If you don't subscribe, my penis shrinks. Yep, it loses its girth and length, so you gotta subscribe.